keep your money? Well, for most of us, the answer is a no-brainer: in a bank. But a recent study from the FDIC says that 25% of households and half of African-American households rely on third-party services to handle their money transactions. Here now is a guy we always bank on for sound financial insight, the watchdog on Wall Street, Chris Markowski. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
All right, so I was surprised by this.
It threw me off, too. I got the article yesterday, and I was like, are you kidding?
Wow. All right, so let's talk about what we mean by third-party services. That's the check cashing.
Yeah, check cashing places. You see them, payday loan places. They're all over the place. They popped up quite frequently now. I've seen them be on almost every, like a Starbucks.
Right.
It's like you got a Starbucks and you got one of those payday places right next door.
Explain to folks who maybe aren't familiar how those places work.
Well, you can go in there and you can basically, if you show that you have employment, you show the stub. What in turn can end up happening is that you can end up getting a loan based upon a further paycheck. It's a payday loan. But if you also take a look at the interest rate that you're paying on these things, how they go back, you're talking getting up 200–300% going forward.
Oh.
I would recommend going to the First International Bank of New Jersey. It's headed up by Tony Soprano. He's going to give you better rates than these guys are going to get because it's nonsense.
Yeah, okay. Now, why is it, do you think, that people, though, because obviously there's a great number of people in this country who are suspect of banks and they have no trust in them. Why do you think that is?
Well, I can understand this in regards to certain people coming from South America, Central America, where they've had a history of banks being taken over by the government and people losing their deposits. They don't understand the concept of the FDIC that we have here. And most recently, just happened last year, the insurance on your deposit at any bank is up to, was $100,000, is now up to $250,000. So if you are under that limit in a bank, you're guaranteed the government's going to give you your money back if the bank goes ahead and folds. Not always the case in these countries around the globe.
Okay, so you think that's sort of a lingering suspicion there?
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you think the current, the current bailouts and everything, people hear the headlines and they think, oh, these criminals, these corporate fat cats with their, $1-million toilets, and so they shun the banks because of that? I mean, I'm just...
Honestly, I mean, it's nonsense. Really, it is. Yeah, if you're lower than $250,000, you're fine. You're protected with the FDIC in regards to that. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay. So, so again, these payday loan places are just not a good idea because they're charging ridiculous amounts of interest.
Of the many bad financial ideas that we see, this is one of the worst ones out there. Okay. Even if your immigration status is in question, whatever it may be. There's another item as well, so saying people who might be illegals are afraid to use them. You can get a consular card and people can go ahead and open up a bank account. So it's kind of silly.
Is there any alternative to, I mean, if you don't want to open up a checking account and keep your money in a bank, is there a safer alternative?
Prince Albert, mattress, start trading in seashells. We use wampum. I have no idea.
All right. So the message here is if you're using those payday loan centers, those cash
no, you're going to
please stop. Yes, yeah, please. It's really a bad idea. The banks are safe. You are
welcome
insured.
Back to the Daily Buzz. Well, the president is holding a job summit in Washington today with 15 million Americans out of work and a soaring budget deficit. He definitely has his work cut out for him. So the CEOs of Google, Comcast, Boeing, Disney, and FedEx, as well as labor leaders and prominent economists, will all be on hand to help figure out how to create jobs on a budget. Now, here to help us make sense of how that might happen is the watchdog on Wall Street, Chris Markowski. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Okay, so we know that the leaders that will be at this summit are going to be broken up into 6 groups, 6 think tanks. So let's go through some of them right now. We're going to start off with the green jobs. And give us a little input on how you think that in this sector things can be improved, how more jobs can be created.
Well, I think the market forces need to create jobs. We can't just say we want to have a green economy and poof, there's going to be one. If the green jobs are efficient, if people are going to go about buying the actual products, well, then it's going to eventually work. Originally, most people don't really actually realize, kind of getting off on a tangent, but the original combustible engine was built on vegetable oil, not petroleum oil. Petroleum was just cheaper, and that's why we have oil-based, petroleum oil-based engines. You can say you want to create all this stuff, but it has to be market forces that basically push it in that direction.
Okay, moving down this list, boosting small business employment.
Small business employment, that's me right here. I'm a small business employer, and I deal with small businesses all around the country. Small businesses are crying out, and what they're saying is, get out of our way. Leave us alone. We can't have higher taxes. We can't have more regulation. We can't have higher health care costs because we're not going to hire. Small businesses are out. It's like being out looking out over a minefield right now. And all of these things are mines out there in front of them, and they're frightened. Now, the last thing a small business owner wants to do is ever fire somebody. You don't want to lay people off. You're dealing with people's family. Yeah. So if you don't know what your taxes are going to be, you don't know what your regulations will be, what your costs are going to be going forward, you're not going to hire anybody. They need the government to get out of the way.
Okay, quickly, we have a few more to go through, so we have to get through them quickly. Government infrastructure spending.
We've been doing that in some of the stimulus packages, but some of that is drying up. I don't know. If bridge needs to be built, I suppose we should build it. Let's just not dig holes and then fill them back in.
Okay, fostering growth of U.S. exports.
Well, that's basically businesses getting out and about. We're developing consumers all around the globe, China, Pacific Rim. We've got to go to that direction, go out there and sell our stuff to them.
Okay, competitiveness when it comes to businesses.
Well, that's going to come basically based upon higher education, kids continuing to go to school here. All of these things are going to go being important. But the most important thing, in my opinion, is for the government to get out of the way and allow businesses to grow like they should.
Okay, and lastly, seconds left, workforce development and training.
Well, that's comes with education. We have the best college education system in the world. Community colleges are a great way to go to basically redevelop and change your way of going.
Great, Chris. Thank you so much.